Control module. In the control module, we will be discussing how to access and control the pH, DO, temperature, and other parameters, data tracking, and general settings. Firstly, turn on the machine. After the control unit has been booted up, you will see the lower right corner of the screen two language options, Chinese and English. Choose the language of your preference. If the language is still in Chinese, the change will have to be done in advanced setting. Click the button in the first row and first column, then click the button on the second column, last row. Finally, you will see an English button on the lower part of the screen. Click it. To go back, just click the settings. During this, a pop-up window may come up with the username and password. Select the manager username and key in 1 as the password. On the main screen, there will be a picture of a fermenter on the left side of all the parameters, such as DO, agitation, and pH. And on the top part of the screen are the F1 and F2 symbols. To change between fermenters, just click on either symbol. To access the parameters, just click on the parameter symbols. A graphical representation of that parameter against the time should appear. On each parameter, there is an SV and PV symbol on the left side of the screen. SV represents the set value, while PV represents the process value. DO cannot be adjusted automatically and must be controlled via agitation. Click the settings below to adjust the agitation rate and DO range. Step signifies the agitation increase per interval due to low or high DO levels, and damp signifies the interval period of this step change. These two parameters only come into play if the DO range is violated. Now, let us take a look at sequence controlling. In certain conditions, you might need to set different values at certain intervals. Let's take a look at temperature as an example. On the main parameter page, click the sequence button. The table should come up with 5 columns that are time, auto, SV1, mode, and SV2. There are a maximum of 6 intervals. Time controls the length of the intervals, SV1 is the initial set point, and SV2 is the final set point. Mode controls the change in set point. If you want to change the set point from one value to another, choose linear mode. If you wish to keep the set point constant, then choose fixed. The sequence control for pH and agitation is identical and is almost the same for foaming and feed except for the segments. Next is data access. In order to access the data from the batch such as pH, agitation, etc. at a specific time, click the settings, then click data report for the respective fermenter. A list of data will appear determining the parameters at certain intervals. This is the real-time data of the current batch. To see past data for different batches, click Batch at the upper right corner. Select the batch, then click Batch Data. To select the intervals at which the data is recorded, select the time at the lower part of the screen. The intervals range from 1 minute to 120 minutes. For a graphical representation of the data, click the tank symbol F1 or F2, then click the pylon icon at the top left part of the screen. Then click the trend on the left side of the other parameters. A graph should appear on the screen. Lastly, in order to set the alarm system, click the respective tank symbol F1 or F2, which will take you to the main page. Then click the alarm button In this page, you can see the upper control alarm and the lower historical alarms. In this page, you can also set the upper and lower limits of each parameter by clicking the button on the lower part of the screen to your right. When the parameter's control mode is auto and the present value is on the range of upper and lower limits, the alarm buzzer will sound. But if it is in alarm close and the limits are violated, the alarm buzzer will not sound. Maintenance and electronics. On the left side, we have the AC/DC power supply, which acts as the power source of the system. Further, we have the program logic controller, the PLC. Its function is to control the other mechanical and electronic parts and instill instructions. The PLC is programmed to continuously scan all the input present values of the system and correspondingly update the outputs. For example, if the system is increasing the pH, the relay for the peristaltic pump will be open and the pH value is reached. The PLC will communicate with the control unit until the value is reached. At the bottom we have the controllers for pH, DO, temperature, and foam. The controller receives an input signal, compares it to a set point, and via an output signal adjusts the parameter as the process requires. Now we have the mechanical relays that control current flow going towards the peristaltic pumps. In this case, the relay is always open, meaning that the system only functions when the signal is sent to the relay. Moving on, we have the AC power source that provides the initial source of energy. On the top, we have the fuses. Bear in mind that if the fuses blow, a red light will appear at its center. Next to the fuse, we have the actuator and the MCC circuit breaker. At the far end, lastly, covered in black, we have the transformers that convert the AC power to DC power. Another part is the SSR, which is the solid state relay, which is more appropriate for more sensitive changes in current and control, and is used to control the temperature. Last but not least, we have the servo motor controller, which controls the motor's functions. When the motor is plugged in and is running, a symbol should appear on the back of the servo controller in the form of the letters RUN, letting us know the servo controller is working appropriately. Here are some general tips on handling the fermenter. Ensure to regularly clean the vessel and the condenser. When handling the probes, ensure not to immerse the probes in deionized water for too long. This could cause impaired damage to the probe. Ensure to purge the water out of your tubes and system regularly to prevent sedimentation. Thank you.